All right, so hear me out. First off, I want to thank the 1.9 million of you that have watched my Crimea video. I'm still in shock about all that. And the comments from that have mostly been positive. However, there are some that have been not so positive. So I wanted to clear the air here and do Crimea 2.0. Talk about how we got into this whole situation. So let's talk about it. Let's time travel all the way back to the year 2014. Obama was president, the #1 song was Dark Horse by Katy Perry, and the Revolution of Dignity was happening in Ukraine. See, this was also known as the Ukrainian Revolution, and it took place in February of 2014. It took place at the end of the Euromaidan protests. And what are the Euromaidan protests? Well, those took back in November of 2013, and those took place because the Ukrainian President Yukoyevich decided not to sign the Political Association and Free Trade Agreement with the EU, and instead tried to get some closer ties with Russia. See, the protesters opposed the widespread corruption, abuse of power, influence of the Russian oligarchs, police brutality, human rights violations, and anti-protest laws. See what I'm getting at here? And in January and February of 2014, in Independence Square, which is in central Kiev, the protests turned violent. Ultimately, it ended with 108 protesters and 13 police officers killed. Because of this, Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych was actually ousted out of office. This sparked both pro-Russian and anti-separatism movements in Crimea. And on March 6th, the Crimean parliament went to Russia and said, "Statsvyutsa, bitches, we want to be back." But in order to become part of the Russian Federation again, a Crimea-wide referendum had to be held. It's a vote. They had to have a vote. And this vote was set for March 16th. Now, the Ukrainian government, the US, and the EU all challenged the legitimacy of this, stating that Article 73 of the Constitution of the Ukraine, stating that alterations to the territory of Ukraine needs to be done with an all-Ukrainian referendum. Now, because of this, some international monitors were sent to Ukraine, but were stopped by armed militants at the Crimean border. And ahead of this, on March 11th, the Supreme Council of Crimea made a declaration of independence for Crimea, stating that the Autonomous Republic of Crimea and the city of Sevastopol were sovereign states. That's their own country, not part of fucking Ukraine. See, that's what declarations of independences do. We did one against the British, meaning we're not part of your fucking country anymore. That's how that works. Fast forward March 16th, the referendum required voters to choose whether A, they supported Crimea becoming part of Russia, or B, they support the restitution of the 1992 Constitution of Crimea and become part of Ukraine. Now, see, this is where a lot of people are fucking telling me that I'm wrong, but I'm not. The official turnout for the referendum was 83% of the population, of which 95.5% of the fucking population said, "Statsvyutsa, bitches, we're Russian." That's right, 95.5% of the population said we want to become part of Russia. That's called a popular vote. Now that sounds like a very democratic way of handling things. And the next day on March 17th, Crimean authorities officially declared independence and requested to become part of Russia. Yeah. Now, followingly the voted for annexation, Russia warned everybody saying, "All right, listen, since you did this, there's going to be no outside intervention or involvement." Listen, them's the fucking rules. And I know I'm going to be called a Putin party or whatever the hell it is, Putin puppet. Listen, these are just the facts. Like, this is easily findable. Fucking look it up. It's called the Treaty of Ascension. Fast forward to March 24th, the Ukrainian government officially pulls all of its military assets out of Crimea. A couple days later, though, a couple Ukrainian military bases and a couple Ukrainian naval ships were basically, well, I believe the word would be captured by Russia. Popular vote, democratic process, they chose to join Russia, right? Wrong! Now see, since 2015, Ukraine has still claimed that Crimea is part of the Ukrainian territory, designated February 20th, 2014 as the official start date of the temporary occupation of Crimea. So let's just track and make sure we have the facts correct, right? So the Ukrainian Revolution caused the outing of their president, which then caused protests, in which Crimea was going to be taken back over by Russia, in which Crimea declared their independence from Ukraine, said we are a sovereign nation, turned to Putin and said, fuck them bitches, this is Russia. Those of you who've seen Brent Kircher know the reference. I am the machine! It's fucking classic. They then held a vote in which 95.5% of the population said, Statsvutsa bitches, we're back. However, Ukraine says, no, you're not, you're still part of us. They declared independence and were a sovereign nation, and then fucking voted to go back. Them's the rules. Those are the facts. They literally democratically decided that we're going back to Russia. To which Russia was like, yeah, cool, that's fine. You're supposed to be part of us anyways. This just made it easy for us. Welcome home, little Russian bear. And that's the end of that. And then this whole thing kicked off the Russian-Ukrainian war. The people of Crimea said, we want to be Russian. And Ukraine said, fuck you, no you don't. I mean, this is pretty cut and dry. And with that being said, thanks for watching. The best way to support me is to like, comment, or share in these videos. The first episode of By the People is up. It's available on all places that you can get your podcasts. Apple, YouTube, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon, and a smattering of other ones. So go on and check it out. We'll have another episode here in the next couple days. And with that being said, be nice, be kind, be patient.